Sorry about the little late this morning. It's been rough nights this week, 3 nights in a row. Every night kind of been late. Sorry, it's just uh, again. I hope a lot of you guys. I know some of you guys. I think everybody's probably a Jays fan right now. Just like the Raptors back in 2020. So, anyways, guys, sorry about that. Little bit getting late every night and then trying to catch up every morning is not that easy. So I'm gonna try to do my best this morning. I already got a lot of the news, the headlines that are happening in the market. So we're gonna take a look at the market futures and we're gonna look at the entire market. And let's start with again. This is October the 30th, and we're gonna get into the ES futures. We're gonna talk about the news that's happening that had supposed to happen last night between XZ and Trump. That was the biggest thing we wait. Plus, we have lots of earnings coming out. We have a $5 trillion company we can talk about. There is lots of headlines, especially all the pharmaceuticals that have been coming out with earnings yesterday, like Eli Lilly and Merck. So we're gonna take a look at what the pharmaceutical sector is doing this morning, and let's start with the ES futures. ES futures haven't gone anywhere this morning. The Nasdaq hasn't gone anywhere. The ES hasn't gone anywhere. A couple of reasons why. Last night, this morning, early this morning, we supposed to hear something from XZ and Trump that there is some sort of a deal, but there is no deal. They spoke and they basically nodded. Okay, you do this, I'll do this. That's what basically happened, and they didn't talk and they didn't hold a news conference where they were together that what just general questions that were asked by the media, so they didn't really answer a lot of questions. So I personally, what I read out of this, I don't think they got any deal done. I think Ghazi did not treat as good as what Donald Trump says that he treated him. Basically, was just a meat. That's what it was. And Chinese know their economy is doing well. They're trading with the rest of the world, and if they don't get what they want from the Americans, which was the Blackwell chip from NVIDIA and all that high tech stuff that they want in return. If they don't get it, they don't need America. They don't need the U.S. And that's pretty much written there. And you could see what happened based on that from yesterday. Because if there was a deal, if they were talking, I don't think Donald Trump would have jumped on the plane and got back to the U.S. as quick as he did. Okay, so I don't think basically anything happened, and the stock market is, I don't think it knows exactly what happened yesterday, and they think they might have some sort of deal, and the market doesn't know what to do because of it. And if you look at the through the two candles or even the candle this morning, it doesn't know what to do. Even yesterday candle doesn't know what to do. This candle is kind of like it has a little bit of body here, but it's sort of like an indecision. And this morning, the buyers and sellers, they don't know what to do. The sellers are just holding the market right there, just in case that some sort of negative news comes out. So basically, the market is sitting at 69.11, still at the all-time high. It was hoping that it would hear the news from the XZ and Trump again. And then the other negative news was on Wednesday when Fed chairman announced there wasn't, it's a far gone conclusion. They're not exactly cutting a quarter point back in December. They did cut a quarter point for this month, but they're supposed to do another quarter again in December, which was the hint that they gave us a couple of weeks ago. But it's not going to happen the way it looks like, and so that's another negative for the news. And again, the only the good things that have been happening in the last few days has been, the earnings have been coming out, and then Nvidia hitting the $5 trillion, the first $5 trillion. Then you eventually have Microsoft and Apple as well that are eventually will get there, or they got there already for a few minutes. Okay, so that is basically what's affecting the market, but the biggest part been affecting the market has been earnings, and it's kind of been a mixed picture. Yesterday we saw, let me bring it up in front of you here, the earnings. So this is let's go to Thursday. So Wednesday, sorry, let's go to Wednesday first. We want to go look at these. On Wednesday, we had the Microsoft that came out with. Let me update this chart. Here we go. So here we go. Microsoft came in. They beat the numbers, but they were okay. They were expected to beat these numbers, and the stock basically didn't go anywhere. And and the rest of the numbers as well. We're gonna go through each one of them in a minute through a chart. And there is nothing on the Forex calendar either. Why? Because we've still got the government that's shut down. We haven't talked about that, what's going on there for a while. And so we'll talk about a little bit more what is exactly going on this shutdown. So basically, we have not getting any numbers from the U.S. We're supposed to get the jobs number this morning, the weekly number. It's not coming out, and because of the BLS, and so nothing is happening there. So let's continue with the market. Where's the market going this morning? Market's going sideways. ES futures is just up, down 16 points. The Nasdaq is down 76 points. Not going anywhere till we get some sort of a news, what's happening, especially with the trade. And then we take a look at the NQ here. NQ is basically same thing. The price got pushed right back down. So this candle is not over yet. Again, the market is sitting at all-time high. To go up further, it needs to hear something about the trade news. But nothing is happening on that front for now. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is the same thing. Oil hit the golden line, is coming back to the downside. It's I think it's gonna hit 55 back, the 55. I'm a negative on this. If you want to go short on oil, I think below this level right there, around the 59.64 or 59.50. Let's go to the round number, 59.50. If it gets below, I would be short on oil to the downside. So what's happening with gold? Gold, basically after the the inflation number came out last Friday, gold has been heading to the downside. Inflation is being controlled. Even Jerome Powell on Wednesday said, yeah, we have inflation that is going to the downside. Short term big cause of inflation was a tariffs to the upside, but that's a one-time thing that's going to happen. And you heard that from a lot of people, including Jerome Powell on Wednesday. So the inflation is under control. What is gold? Gold is a hedge. And unless we get more free money is by cutting interest rates or cutting taxes. And that's how money comes into the market. Liquidity comes into the market. And a lot of that liquidity goes into gold, the stock market, Bitcoin, any investable item out there. But it always depends where the money goes the most. Wherever the safe sector is or undervalued sector is, that's where the money tend to go. A lot of money, like the safe sectors considered, are the gold and bonds. Those are the two safe sectors that are, or any commodities. Those are the safe sectors that considered that money goes into. So gold is sitting at 39.87. So what is gold doing? Gold right now is headed to the downside. I do still think it's going to hit the 3,700 level, and the big one is down here. And if it comes down to 3,500, I would be a buyer for definitely have my money ready. So if we are all in cash, when it hits 3,500, we will do a very hard analysis on it. And especially if it even gets around the 3,700. Right here, this is where the last time it took off. This is where the liquidity happened to the top side, which is around the 37.46, or my favorite number, 37.44. That's where I would be really, looking at this gold hard, really hard, especially to put a lot of money in. If you haven't got gold and you sold a lot of your gold up here for a profit, whatever, you can start maybe, picking up a little bit on the way down. So I think the gold will come somewhere between 3,500, 3,700 level. So, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So what is the Russell doing? The Russell is not going anywhere after the only got a quarter point cut, and then he took the quarter point in December off the table. So this is what the Russell was expecting. Remember those short-term interest rates going to the short-term small companies who borrow at the current rate, right? So that's what's actually hitting the this year. I still think this is going to be. I still think we're going to get a quarter point cut in December. I still believe that, even though Donald Jerome Powell, it's not going to happen. I think it's going to happen. So I think this index is going to be. It's a good. I think it's wait till it. I feel that it's going to turn around back to the upside. Or if you feel, you guys know how to look at it. If you, I'm waiting for this turnaround to the upside, and I will buy. And right now, if you look at the RTY, with what we actually do is a copy. We buy the IWM. So IWM is a copy of the Russell 2000. So I am looking at this. We're very close. I am going to get back into it. But again, let's see where it can turn around. There's been a lot of selling in this zone. You can see on the algo, on the volume profile. There have been a lot of selling in this zone, and the volume really picked up on the way down this morning. So a lot of selling going on in IWM. So be patient. I think it'll get there, and we will pick some that up. What about the VIX? VIX has been it was waiting for that exciting news. We had Jerome Powell on Wednesday with this thing here, and we were excited with the XZ meeting as well to see if this was gonna go higher, but everything just filtered down. What filter? We are not getting interest rate cuts, and we don't have any deals on. And guess what? Basically, the VIX is doing. VIX is dying right back to the downside. And the biggest thing right now is killing, especially Donald Trump and everybody else, and our housing stocks and the Rocket Mortgage is a 10-year. What is the 10-year doing? 4.11 is to the upside. If they had gotten some deal done, this thing would have been to the downside. But this is not good. It's climbing to the upside. Eventually, it will come down because we got a quarter point cut right now, 4% on the short term. Let's think about this, guys, for a second. I want you to think very hard. Right now, U.S. has just lowered its interest rate by a quarter point. The short-term rates are sitting at 4%. Okay? And all the money on the 10-year right now that's out there, it's saying, I want a higher yield. If I want to buy those bonds, I want a higher yield. My risk is too much in the US dollar. Normally the 10-year, when the interest rates are going down, it would normally come down. But the 10-year says, I am not going to, I'm not going to go invest. It's like investors like me. If I want to go buy bonds right now and say, you guys are selling so much dollars out there, so many US dollars, why should I take yield at 4%? I want a 5% yield. Give me 5%, then I'll take your money. And that's what it's telling the Treasury right now. And that's what it's telling Donald Trump right now. And I don't know if they're paying attention to this thing. If this thing goes higher, like 4.5%, 5%, they can lower all the rates they want. But the long-term rates, and the yield, if they want to give out debt, they want to give 10-year debt, because that's what the governments want to do. They want to stabilize. They like giving out bonds that are 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, because that's a stabilization. But when you start issuing treasuries like 3 months, 6 months, that's what the investors out there are willing to take right now in the US dollar. They only want to invest in the US dollar for 3 months, short term. Okay, now think about what's going to happen to this American dollar once all this money comes into the market. Okay, so pay attention to the 10-year yield and pay attention to the short-term rates. We're going to get another quarter point dump on, in around especially Christmas time or whenever the next December meeting is, right? So we're going to get another quarter point cut. And this thing is going the opposite direction. uh, it's amazing. Well, so pay attention. I love this thing. This thing here tells us a lot. The 10-year. Okay. So what is the dollar index doing? If the yield is going up, well, guess what the American dollar is doing? It's going to get stronger. Okay. Other one the thing is when your yield is going up, people want to buy US dollar because they're investing in it. I'm saying just the opposite of what I just said. If this thing yield goes up 5%, people may want to invest in the US dollar, but they don't want to invest it below 4%. They don't want to take any American debt below 4%. Okay, that's the way you should look at it. And this is what caused, remember back in 2000 when the interest rates were so low and all the regional banks were going bankrupt? Why? Because they had all their money locked at lower interest rates. Remember that? But nobody wants to lock their money in now. They don't want to take the risk. And that's why they're look at the 1 o'clock, they're issuing 3-year yield, they're issuing 6-year, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, and nothing more than 5 to 10 years. Nobody wants to take those. And especially 30-year used to sell a lot in the US because it always gave up higher yield. No, would you be in your right mind to take the 30-year, lock your money in for 30 years that nobody wants? So think about that, guys. Dollar index is headed higher. Let's take a look at the put call ratio. Look at the SPY put. It's going towards the put, and same thing with the triple Qs. It's going towards the puts as well, and the IWM is a little bit to the call side. So mixed bag of picture here, but the market expectation overall is to the downside. So today is a risk off day. So don't go long. Try to, if you're a day trader, you want to be more short term, and if you're long term buyer trader, you may want to hold. Okay, long term traders want to hold. Swing traders may want to hold, but short term, you can trade to the downside. That's what it looks like today. And what's happening with the Bitcoin? Same thing. Bitcoin is being hit by the liquidity in the market, and there is no liquidity. What happens to Bitcoin when people don't have free money? It's going to the downside. And I'm really worried about, unless it really happens, Bitcoin is going to hit the low back to 100K level again if you don't hear any sort of liquidity coming into the market. So if you're trading Bitcoin, just be careful, and especially be careful of MSTR. Look, this thing is down. It's breaking this support right there. That major support that I had was 276 on this thing, and it broke it to the downside. If it closes below, it actually did close below yesterday. It's opening below here. Be very careful. They came out with earnings yesterday. I'm going to take a look at them a little bit later. I haven't looked at their earnings. They came out yesterday, I believe. We'll take a look at it in a minute. So MSTR has been, very risky stock. Be very careful in it. I know a lot of people in it. They're taking a risk, but I've been warning you guys for a while. Be careful of this stock. It's expensive stock, and if you put a lot of money in it, I don't care what size of money you put in it, if the loss of that money is very real, and especially if the Bitcoin comes to the downside. On the other hand, Coinbase, this company does not have as much risk in Bitcoin as MSTR does. This is just a platform where you trade. These guys actually make money as you're trading Bitcoin. They don't care whether Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies go up or down. They make money in either direction. They don't care. Ethereum is sitting at 38.58. This is a support around, especially this right here at 3,500. Okay, if it goes below 3,500, we can see almost like 2,500 after that. That's $1,000 down from there. So be very careful if this level breaks to the downside. Okay, so be very, very careful of the crypto stocks overall, just getting into them, right? So overall, very, very hard picture to take a look at it. Again, we have 3 interest rate decisions on Wednesday. Canada cut a quarter point, the US cut a quarter point, and the Japanese did nothing, and they held the rates, basically last night to where they were, as expected. The new prime minister came in, and that's where they held. There was a trade deals going on between the Japanese and the US. Again, it's not on clarity what got done. Hopefully, during the day today, I will take a look at more closely exactly what got done, and I will bring it up, bring it up in the chat, and we'll talk about open discussion. If anybody wants to talk about trade deals, I would love to hear everybody else's opinion in here, so we can have a conversation after 10 o'clock, after the market opens up. So we'll talk about that then. So other than that, let's take a look at the the earnings that, especially let's take a look at our favorite, Microsoft. And this is the best company in the world right now. I don't care. Nvidia is running 5 trillion. I still like the diversification of Microsoft. Microsoft got ChatGPT, got Windows, got Microsoft Office, Azure, very well cloud. I mean, the company is very well diversified. If somebody held a gun to my head, they say you either can invest in Nvidia or Microsoft, I would take Microsoft any day. So $541 where it closed at yesterday after the earnings. It's now sitting at 529. I love to see an opportunity to buy this under 500 now. Would love to see an opportunity to buy this stock under 500. Would I buy it here? No. Let it come down more. And I love to see a 9-10% correction in the market. So think about the 9-10% 10% correction. This thing could give us, right? 10% correction is automatically $50 less, which would be under $400. But when they start going for a correction, normally some of the stocks like this one here will give you a lot more. Remember back in 2000, in April, when Donald Trump give us that extra little hump to the downside, that was a 21% correction back here. So imagine if we get about 20% correction here on Microsoft. So I am not a buyer, even though they beat the numbers, but they were expected. The numbers were expected to beat to the upside. What did the numbers look like? Let's take a look on Microsoft here. $4.13. They beat handily the consensus number at 365. Revenue was $77 billion. Okay, so they beat these numbers crazy. What came in real bad was Meta. Revenue was crazy, but the earnings per share was way less than the 665, and this had a lot to do with all this cloud building and a lot of these news, especially AI. They spent a lot of money. They bought. I don't know if you guys all been following. Also, a lot of Apple AI and Microsoft and Nvidia. They've been paying them millions and millions of dollars to come and join Meta as well. So these guys are spending money like crazy on their technology, and it will pan out. I think it will in the next couple of years. I think Meta will be $1,000 stock based on what the technology that they're coming out with. Okay, so what did Meta do yesterday? Let's take a look. It was to the downside, just like Microsoft. So here it is opening at 677. It will give us an opportunity to buy again. I would not go out and buy my Meta right now. Let it come down more. I think around the 628 or the 600. I don't know if it's going to come that far. But anyways, we will do more when it's time to buy. You guys will be the first ones to hear. But I would hold off right now. Even though it's got a little bit of support here, it may bounce back a little bit. So, short term, that could happen. But what normally you should do is when the earnings come out, wait for the company for 2 weeks. Wait for 2 weeks to see what happens. Or the one thing you can wait for the green triangle on the 4-hour chart, or the one, if you're trading short term, which is 1 hour. But if you're trading long term, especially take the 4-hour. When this happens, this green here on the way down, it happens, then that would be your cue to get back into Meta. Okay, so right now I would hold off on this stock here. So the next stock we take a look at is Alphabet, Google, who beat the numbers. Google has been it really didn't perform as much as the other M7 stocks, but it's been on fire since they got that the lawsuit settled, and Apple got $20 billion extra, which saved them, paid from the taxpayer. And Google has been doing really well, 274 all. This is all-time high. I think Google is this is a standout right now with its cloud business, and it will continue to go up. And it's doing very well. How about Apple? Apple is up as well. Apple's been on fire. Apple, and it's coming out with earnings today. I believe they're after market. Yeah, I think so. A lot of earnings here. So we'll take a look at the numbers, Apple, whether they're gonna beat the earnings today or not. So this is Wednesday. Where is Thursday? A lot of earnings. You can see a lot of earnings. There's Apple. Apple will be coming out earnings after market today. Amazon is coming after market today. And Eli Lilly came out this morning. This is the pharmaceuticals that I was talking about. Eli Lilly is again $7.02, very strong revenue, and this is a drug that they created on weight loss. So let's take a look at what Eli Lilly is doing. Is it a buy or sell? What are we doing with this thing? So Eli Lilly is up this morning with those great earnings. I think that they got a couple of other drugs that are coming down the line, and I think they're going to be much. I don't know if they're going to be better than the one they have right now, but I think this very comparison, and if those two drugs pan out, and if they like this one did, I think this is going to be back. This is going to be a double stock, okay, from where it is. But I would not necessarily go, because remember, when you get an FDA approval, that's like winning a lottery, right? It's a lot of risk in it, getting a drug's approval, and once you do, you win a lottery. And that's what this company has done with the drug, right? They basically won a lottery, and that's where they've been going. So, and if they get that drug approval, you will have a chance to buy then. But I would not necessarily. But if you're really looking to buy this one, I know a lot of people talked about it. Should I buy? Should I buy? Let it settle down. And one of the things you should do is draw a trend line right here. It's a beautiful trend line you can draw. Touch these 3 points on the top, and if it breaks to the upside, it hasn't done it yet, that's your cue to, especially for swing traders, that's a good place to buy right there on Eli Lilly, and picking it up onto the upside from there. Okay, so that is the other one I want to take a look at is Merck. Merck came out with earnings as well. This is a pharmaceutical. This is one of my favorite companies. No, MRK. Okay, this is I have this company for years. I've been holding this for years, and I haven't sold a lot of shares in and out, but it has come down a lot. I'm looking for this to add this one. This one's got pretty good drugs as well. They're coming down the pipeline. The population is getting old. They're gonna need these drugs to survive, and they're coming out with better and better. Watch this one here. They're working on a lot of Alzheimer's drugs. Remember, Alzheimer is a big problem as the population is getting old. And sometimes I feel like I have an Alzheimer when I wake up in the morning trying to figure out where am I? So it's 90. So this is what they're trying to search. And if they do find it, I think this is going to be a good breakout above the $90. So keep a close eye on it. The one I'm you can buy actually Merck, but the one you can really buy is Pfizer. Pfizer has been sitting around this level, around the $24 level. The reason I say this one is because if you're still sitting here for a while before this thing goes up, you have a pretty good dividend. And this company pays. They're not going to stop paying that dividend. They make money on their existing drugs, and current yield is like 7%. So this is what I would currently, if I'm, if even this thing keeps going sideways, I'm making 7%. and eventually, if those drugs come in, this company will start moving back to the upside as well. So definitely keep a very close eye on this one, guys. I really think it's Pfizer, Merck, Eli Lilly, and there's a few other ones I will talk about later. Biogen is there too, and we'll have to take a look at individually. I will put them buys or sells in the chat. Okay. So this morning also we have MasterCard come out with earnings, and MasterCard beat the numbers at $4.38. They beat the per share numbers by 6 cents, and they beat the revenue by the number came in at 8.6. The number forecasted was 8.5. So let's take a look at MasterCard. What is MasterCard doing this morning? MasterCard is slightly up with these beats, but again, we talked about Visa, we talked about MasterCard, we talked about AXP. So Capital One, I think, already came out with earnings or something. I think they did. All of these here, I think they're buys right now. I would let them go sideways. I love all these companies, especially Visa. I think it's probably the cheapest. So just wait patiently. I think they're going to give us an opportunity to buy. This is for you 25, 30-year-olds, something to buy, put it away on the side somewhere and leave it there, and don't touch it, and retire on this 25 to 30 years. Okay. Another one I like, remember we talked about a little bit about Guild Sciences. All the pharmaceuticals guys coming out with earnings this morning and yesterday. I love this stock. This is another favorite stock. I had it for a long time. I sold it, but I think trying to get back into it, maybe at a lower price or something. But anyway, it ran away from me. I like the stock. I like the numbers. They beat the numbers as well. Gilead, sorry, they're coming out with numbers tonight. They haven't come out yet. These are coming out tonight. So I think they'll be fine as well. So take a look at what coming out tonight. Apple is coming out. Amazon. Are they going to beat the numbers? So let's take a look. Apple first. Okay. What is Apple going to do tonight? So Apple is sitting at all-time high. And what are the numbers going to look like? Let's take a look at the earnings here. $1.78 per share. I think it's going to be pretty close. And the revenue is these numbers are already slated down. Okay, these numbers were higher a couple of months ago. These numbers were lowered. Why they were lowered? They're not expecting a great full iPhone sales, even though there were a lot of news on the Apple iPhones, but there was not a lot of new things put in the last couple of Apple iPhones. People are kind of getting bored with this technology. They want to see something new. So I think this is going to be close, because even the lower number, like $1.78, is going to be impacted. So what about this? Even revenue last 11 in Q2 the revenue was 95.36 billion, and they're calling for 94 billion in this quarter. That's a lower number from the previous. So it's and if you had the earnings come out at $1.57 with this kind of revenue, and we have even lower, we should even get that number should be even lower. So I don't know if they're gonna beat. So if you're I don't play for earnings, but I'm just taking a guess for those who may be holding this stock, who may want to make a decision before Apple earnings, whether to maybe buy and sell. But even if the numbers kind of even come close to this number, what $1.78, I think the stock goes to the downside. Why? Because the stock has run up a lot already before the earnings. So look at the stock. It has a lot of run up. So be very careful that what is Apple going to do tonight. So if you have a lot of profit, I don't want to tell you because to take a profit. But what I would do, I would take some profit by the end of the day and take my risk off the table. But you can always buy it back if it goes up, it comes down. You can always buy it back. But you don't want to. If you have a big profit, you don't want to lose that all of it. So again, I don't think they're going to beat the numbers. I think they're going to come down to the downside, but that's my opinion. Again, guys, you guys maybe know better who follow this Apple, but I don't want to tell you, hey, or you come back to me after market. This thing goes up $20 because they made some sort of deal or something new happened. You never know what you're gonna get on earnings, and that's the reason I don't play any stock for any earnings unless I know underneath that they're really gonna come in with those numbers. Okay, that is Apple. What else? Is anybody have anything other stocks here to talk about? Let me just come to
Uber bhaji, Uber.
Uber. Yes, definitely, buddy. Uber is. I'm a owner of Uber. Uh, I love this stock, and it's sitting at 94.80, and its earnings are coming out on November 4th. That's next week. Okay, so we are gonna be. What is this month is uh, one Friday. Tomorrow is the last day of this month. So we're gonna be going into November on next week when we open up on the market. So what is Uber doing? Uber is like on Tuesdays coming out earning. Are they gonna beat the numbers? Let's take a look. I think I'm very excited about the Uber always. I've been holding this for a long time. So earnings, 69 cents. I think they're gonna beat this number easily. I think they're also gonna beat this number as well, or on the on the revenue. I think they're gonna beat, and they're gonna beat. And the stock has been kind of stuck in this range, and it's been I think this stock will go higher on earnings. I think you can play for if today is showing down at 94.75. So if you want to play for swing trade, I would be looking for, especially if it stays above this trend line, this green here. I would be playing for this for a swing trade maybe for a few days. Today is Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Monday I would make a decision if you're playing for swing whether I want to stay in or stay out. But I do think they're going to beat the numbers. I think the stock will go higher. But again, guys, don't take a risk on earnings. I don't play for earnings, but I will tell you what may happen. But this may happen, and it's a good chance it's going to happen. It's going to beat the earnings. So I do believe Uber. I'm holding it like my long term. Like I'm holding it from 22, 33 bucks. It's not going to hurt me if this stock goes up and down 5 or 10 bucks. It's not going to change my decision whether to sell it or not, unless something really shows up in the financials that is very negative. Okay, so otherwise I'm definitely holding on to Uber. SFM. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
ਭਾਈ ਮੈਟਾ
Meta.
ਬਾਏ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ
Okay.
ਕਿ ਜਾਂ ਹਜੇ ਵੇਟ?
Meta, I would wait. But I said that in the analysis earlier. I said wait for. Why would I wait? Is because I normally, this is a rule of thumb that everybody uses. This is a rule of thumb. They normally, when the earnings come out, if they want to buy a stock, they usually wait for 2 weeks. Okay, everybody usually waits for 2 weeks, but we are active traders here. We don't want to wait for 2 weeks because we are active traders. So we'll see we're at a point where it does become a buy. Okay, so we'll definitely take a look at them. So as we go forward, but I'm not a buyer right here. Okay, I will let the stock settle and see where we can buy. But if you like long term, I love this stock. If you want to DCA it, I'm not gonna stop you here. But anyway, I love this stock.
ਠੀਕ
Anji.
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਭਾਜੀ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
Yeah, thank you. So SFM, let's take a look at this one. Sprout Farmers Market. Okay, let's take a look. This is interesting. Stock has been coming down technically. This is one I think this is all I always love. This is an H pattern, and Harpy talks about H patterns all the time as well. And this is what I like when a stock is coming down like this. What's an H pattern? H pattern is comes down, then the stock goes up like this here, then it comes down here. Now, where should you where should you buy or sell this stock? Okay, the H pattern is when it breaks this to the downside here. That means you sell it. You can short sell it. Okay, but if this is the point I'm looking for to go long. If it goes and breaks this to the upside, or if it just turns around to the upside. If it turns around to the upside, my my stop is going to be right here or below this. You can put it below this here, $98 here. Okay, see how this stock came down here. The sellers tried to push it further to the downside, and the buyers came in. So this is really is your buy point right there. Okay, as long as it doesn't break below here, you can buy this. This is technical analysis. So what about fundamental analysis? Okay, before we go there, I see another interesting point right there. This is where the stock took off, broke out to the upside. So it said, why did it find a nice support? When you're always looking for a stock when it's coming down like this, always look at the past. Where had the support has been? Okay, where could it possibly stop going down? It stopped going down right here, just before this one here. So it found a little bit of support, but it couldn't hold on. It continued to the downside. Then it didn't even bother to look at this one because there was a gap up right there. It didn't even bother to look at. So it filled that gap to the downside. Okay, always when you're looking at these stocks, look where the support could be. So this one here could have a very strong support, especially here. Okay, so also here, because it touched here before, it touched here, eventually it broke out. So this is a nice support area technically on this stock. This is technical analysis. This is what everybody should do. You should draw a line right here actually. Let me, a horizontal line here. You can go a horizontal line right across here. Okay, as long as it stays above that, it should recover back to the upside. But the next thing we want to take a look at is the fundamentals. Is this stock too cheap? Is this stock going to turn around? And that's what the fundamentals are going to tell us. So let's take a look at what the fundamentals are doing. First of all, what is this company? It's in the healthy grocery stores, firm specialized in fresh, natural, organic. Okay, so like a wholesale, store there. So okay, they headquartered in Phoenix. They're in the yeah, they're in the U.S. So I don't know how many franchises they have, but they are a $10.22 billion company. Okay, and they are paying. I don't see a dividend, but let's take a look at all the other numbers. So they're into food and stuff. Statistics numbers here. Price to earnings ratio is 22, which is lower than the last couple of quarters here. Okay, but 22 is lower. But I love the price to sales ratio, 1.26. I love it between 1 and 3. It's 1 and 3. So what about the cash flow? Cash flow is going to the, it's better than the last couple of quarters here, 14. And book value is okay, 7.70 sitting there. But the numbers look okay. Fundamental numbers look okay. But what I would be looking for, revenue. Is the revenue growing? Yes, it looks like the revenue is growing from year to year. And what I would do to buy this stock is look at the transcript of the last earnings. Okay, when is the next earnings coming out? Oh, these earnings just came out recently. They beat these numbers. So here's an interesting story. What we're gonna do on this stock, if you're gonna buy for the long term, if they missed the revenue a little bit, to go look at the transcript of this company. Look at the transcript. Whether the what is they saying? What is the growth is gonna be like? And that's where if the numbers are positive, that's when I would buy this stock. Okay, that's how would I buy into SFM. Let's take a look at FMC. FMC Corporation. This is breaking down, so be very careful here. This is support a little bit like an H pattern, but it's gonna look like it's breaking to the downside. So be very careful here, and it is breaking down today as well. So it's holding there right now, but if it closes back up, possibly can go back up. But let's take a look at what the stock does. So technically, I would be very careful there. This is revenue kind of going down, so it's already telling us a negative picture. Okay, so far. What about earnings? Earnings again look like they're okay. Revenue is really the negative picture. Then what about the statistics numbers? 38 number is higher. Look what they used to be. Now look where it is. And price to sales is fine. It's not a problem. Price to cash flow is that's a problem. Book value is not a problem. So it's a mixed picture, and revenue is going down. I would not be at this point buyer of this stock. No, definitely would not. But again, wait for the turnaround for the here and look at the numbers, see if it can go back to the upside. Okay, so yeah, I know it dropped a lot after the earnings, but again, it just doesn't make sense to buy a stock if the earnings are going to continue to go to the downside. Okay, so I would basically stay out of it till I get some positive picture that the revenue is coming back, the earnings are coming back, and a chart that will turn around to the upside. So and if we get a 10% correction tomorrow, this stock will be the first one going more further to the downside. So again, don't take a risk like that. Uh, Pepsi is yesterday was down $4. I like Pepsi. Can you buy Pepsi? Yes, I think you can. It is up a little bit, 146.56. I said it in the chat yesterday. Look at both Coke and Pepsi for the Christmas run. I think these will be fine as long as we don't get a correction in the market, and these stocks will be fine. And the long-term view is Pepsi and Coke, 25, 30 years old, put it in the corner somewhere, let it go, and let it stay there, right? So definitely with Pepsi, I'm a buyer of Pepsi. Definitely hold AMTM. This stock has been just giving me headaches. Been holding on to it maybe too long, but anyways, 19 and 22. I don't have a lot of shares. It's breaking to the downside again. 21.48, 21.40 this morning. The stock has not done well. If you decide, I know we bought this at 19 and 22. If you decide you want to sell it, that's fine because it hasn't gone anywhere. It's like a dead money. And when you have a dead money on a stock that I expect it to go up soon, there are a lot of stocks I am very patient with. There are a lot of stocks that I'm very patient with. You guys know that. But I'm not very patient with a stock when I'm expecting it to go up. Okay? I expected this stock to go up here, back here. It's not doing it. And if it's not doing it, then maybe it's time to just get out. Okay? So that's my opinion on the AMT. You can get out if you like, but again, I have a small number of shares that I'm just gonna hang on to see what happens. Okay, so that is AMT. QCOM is been a stock that came announced a new chip and it ran all the way up. I think this is an opportunity to remember. I said to you guys, don't chase it. Right? Look where the stock is sitting right now. So if you, it's a very interesting stock, and I do think it deserves maybe a little bit of buy. Okay, it has come down a lot, and we still need to see this chip. I don't think anybody's seen this chip. There haven't been no opinions out there, right? They got a big run up on that chip, and now they gotta prove it that it works as well as they're saying they got the chip that is very competitive to Nvidia's chip, right? So if it is, let's see it, and I will do a little bit of more research on it. But I do think after this big run up here, that hey, it's getting back to where it started from. Maybe buy a little bit. QCOM is a good company. I traded this company many times before. Okay, so. Anyways, guys, it's 9:08. Wow, time is flying this morning. And I'm gonna let Harvey do his market update. 10 o'clock we'll start more of a conversation on general market, what's going on with the market. I really like to apologize for the last couple of weeks. Been watching these games lately, and it's just not been getting a lot of time to do a lot of classes and a lot of chat here. But again, hopefully the game will be over on Friday for the Jays. I hope they win it, and if they do, it's going to be a lot of partying going on the weekend. And starting next, we'll get back into all this, big phase of back into learning this market and learning the stock market, getting back into our portfolios. What stocks should buy? What stocks we'll go more into comprehensive. And I'm also creating that ETF as well. So I'm gonna go next week. So we'll get starting next week. We'll go into more comprehensive market update and a little bit of more, looking at stocks as well, and holding more classes, maybe a little more in the evening time, having a little more discussion on the market. So, and we'll talk about the algo as much. Well, I haven't been able to work on the algo as much either for the last little while, but hopefully I'll make some breakthrough and make it better and better. So again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate this. Harvey is up next. I will let him do that. I will see you guys 9:30 when the market opens up. Thank you.
All right, what's up, guys? Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is doing well.